Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's the 30th of March. It's a nice spring day out here on Lookout Mountain, and I have with me one of our Secretary of State candidates, Miss Cam Ashling. Cam, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm great. Thanks so much, Tom, for having me on. I appreciate the work that you're doing to go down ballot because a lot of time we get stuck on the governor's side and we
Right,
have to remember that it's an entire slate that makes people want to come out to vote.
right. And especially Secretary of State's one of the big ones. I mean, I know we have governor, lieutenant governor is a lot of ways ceremonial. Secretary of State's been the stepping stone to becoming governor. So in some ways, it's kind of like the number two in some ways. So it's a very important office, and I'm glad you're here to talk with us today. So what I typically do at the beginning, I turn the screen over to the candidate so you can give a little bit about your background, your family, whatever you think is important about you. Take a minute or two to tell that. So I'm going to get out of your way now and do that. Go ahead.
Okay. I am Cam Ashling here. I am a small business owner, a livestock farmer in Forsyth County. I'm a former stockbroker. A licensed financial professional. But there's more. I'm also a nonprofit founder, and I've been an election protection advocate in Georgia for over a decade. I was also instrumental in winning statewide races for Senator Ossoff and Senator Warnock as a campaign staffer in 2020, 21, and Senator Warnock's re-election in 2022. And I will say the only statewide campaign to win in that round. I'm very proud
Right,
of that. I am running for Secretary of State to finally flip this seat.
right,
I'm tired of the Republicans using it unfairly against us and against the people of Georgia. I'm here to fix the entire office. I want to run it to restore trust and give every Georgian a Secretary of State office that works because this office is an election engine and it's also a business engine, and people forget that. I've spent my entire career trained in, asset management, which is, pretty much private wealth, money and investment. And I've built many systems to solve complex problems. And I want to use that to help us in our very critical stage of our development in Georgia now. I'm a certified financial planner, a chartered alternative investment analyst. So I'm a very technical, sound person. But more than that, I'm a forward-thinking businesswoman with a passion and an experience in every pillar of this office. And I can appeal to a wider range of voters that we need to win in November. I'm a single mom of a third grader. Mini me, I'm a farmer. Like I said, and we forget in Georgia, uh, agriculture is still the number one
yeah,
industry. Okay, we
yeah,
forget that.
right.
And I actually came to the United States in 1988 as a political refugee from Vietnam. And in a time when immigrants are being attacked, and we're kind of told that we don't belong here, and the American dream is not for everyone. I'm pretty, rattled up about that. And so I'm here to run and give myself to the state and the country I love that gave me everything. It's just not politics for me anymore. It's really just to give back and to give us all a fighting chance. Cam Ashling.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for all that you do. You're a busy lady. You are the second livestock farmer I've talked with today. I just voted for one earlier today, Sean Ayers. I went and voted
That's
for him
right. Yes, yes.
in the runoff. So yeah, so go livestock. So thank you for doing that.
And yeah, and we have forgotten in a way how important um that industry is and how
Yeah,
people live. And we need people who can, you know, who understand rural Georgia and the city. And you're lucky, I am both. I'm a city girl and a country girl.
Well, that's good. That's the best mix possible, and I appreciate that. Now, you mentioned some general reasons why you were running for Secretary of State. Is there anything specifically about the office that really has pushed you out to run at this time? Something that happened, or just some circumstance such as that?
I have been doing my best to fix our election system and to fight for voters for over a decade. Okay.
Mm.
I've ran 20 plus people team curing rejected absentee ballots. I have sued the Secretary of State office over SB 202 through my
Right,
PAC. I have testified in court for deceased voters um, that weren't there anymore to fight exact match. And every effort that have tried to kind of stop the voice of Georgians from being heard. And so that is why I'm in this race. But to win this race, I think it's a different question, right? To win this
right.
race, we need somebody who understands the entire office. And there are four pillars of this office. You know,
Hang on, okay. There you go. You're back. Go ahead.
okay,
You
so
froze up just for a second there. Go ahead.
I did freeze. I'm in
Yeah.
First County. Um, should I back it up a little bit, right? So there are four pillars in this office. And even though
Mhm.
Democrats have tend to believe that this is just like elections, it is not. Okay.
Right,
There's a business registration component of it. And that's like
right,
1.5 worth of business registration that comes through this office. 1 million of those are small businesses like mine. And then we're dealing with maintaining licensing and
hmm
um, and that I think is probably by estimation wise 300,000 or so licensed professional that use this office, and there are problems with that. I've spoken to a lot of people.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
causing licenses to lapse. They've spent millions of dollars to fix this new Go uh, program, and
Right,
it is hurting people trying to work and make a living. As
right.
a licensed professional myself, I understand that when we work really hard to get our license, we want a smooth way to maintain it. We want the system to renew it without problems and glitches. And there's just a lot of bugs in the system for licensing. Okay, so we've got election. I think I am the most qualified as a grassroots person who have used the election system and seen it fail voters. Okay, I'm a business owner. I'm a licensed professional, but there's more. Because
Well, there's
this office also runs um, the security division.
yeah.
For brokers, stock advisors, investment professionals like myself. And there's also a fraud and prevention unit that is not serving Georgians. Right?
Yeah.
And as somebody who understands how investment fraud has worked and has stolen money from our elderly community, I know where this gap is, and I will go and plug this gap for us. And so, because of these four pillars that this office runs, I feel I'm the most qualified, experienced. I'm not going to go there and try to figure out how anything works. You don't have to train me on it. Okay. I'm going to go there and fix the problems and get things working again, and that we can all trust the system, get our value out of our tax dollar, because right now I think they're squandering it,
hmm
not performing for Georgians. Tom, did you know that this office, their performance rating is 2.1 out of 5 stars?
It doesn't surprise me.
Exactly.
You were talking about licensing. I know people
It
personally who
just
just had to pull their hair out to get a license out of the state. It's very bad.
It's
It's
not
very
just, yeah,
bad.
it's licensing, it's business registration, it's dealing with um their voting files.
Right.
It's the review from Georgia for an office that is eating 80 to $100 million of our money, and that's how bad they are. Anyway, so I'm gonna go fix that because I'm kind of like a repairman and I enjoy doing that. And I feel most qualified to do that. So I want everybody to kind of get on a train with me and vote for me May 19th. Vote early, of course. We always say that.
Right.
And check your registration so I can go and take on the Republicans and finally end some of this chaos and make this office work for everyone. This is not a political job. Um, I'm not a political insider. I'm not backed by political insiders.
Right. Right.
I've been for the people my entire, kind of like
Right.
community engagement life. And I've been a nonprofit founder before I got into advancing specific policy, as a PAC chair. And then I've been running candidates to try and get really great people to fix our problems.
Right.
And at this point, we just can't afford to lose this office anymore. And sometimes you just feel like if if not you, then who's going to do it? And I feel the most
Right.
qualified to do it. So I'm offering my service to Georgians, and I hope that you all will take my offer and let me do
Mhm.
this for us.
Well, thank you for that. And you've covered a lot of ground there, and I appreciate that because you talked about something that most people forget is the other part. We all know the election part pretty well. I think some of us know the licensing part, but the other parts about business and securities and all that
I
is
just want to keep
something.
losing this office, honestly.
Right. Well, it's an important office. It is very important. It covers a lot of things, and you did a good job
Yeah,
covering all
but
that.
the Democrats
Yeah,
haven't won this office since Kathy Cox, right? So we're looking at like
yeah, it's been a while.
18 years. And who
Yeah.
has won these offices since then? Karen Handel was a businesswoman,
Hmm.
to the 10th power. She was chair of like Fulton Chamber of Commerce and the Contractor Association. And then, Governor Kim was a
Got
farmer with 2 bags of chips. That's my joke.
And then
You
of
know,
course Raffensperger.
and yeah, as a
Raffensperger.
businessman, he is an
Right.
engineer, and this is not uh, a talking podium or a celebrity office. It is a operations office. It is a mathematical office run on systems. It needs an engineer type mentality and a financial person. Especially what I want to do through this office, I think will help a lot of Georgians overcome the affordability kind of crisis that we're having. And I want to generate 100,000 more new business registrations.
Mm,
Okay. And I
okay.
want a lot of that to come from rural Georgia. Okay. Because we have
Yeah.
farmers who are not registered and then they have difficulty passing on their assets sometimes and have
Right.
succession planning. We have people who are unemployed and they can't find a job anymore. But what's the solution to that? Go make your own job. Do not wait for
Right.
somebody else to hand you a job. You go make your own job. You go start your own business. And even for women, and I know this, what gave me flexibility to kind of raise my child and be there when he was young was that I own my own business. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm not getting laid off because I got to go on maternity leave and I come back and, you know,
Right.
some schmo is there now, and I've lost my job because I'm trying to have a family and be a good mom to my child, right?
Right.
So there are a great deal of people who are already um, at the verge of needing to start their own business, and in this office, I will push that and talk about it more so that we get more people owning their own equity as a financial advisor. I want people to own your business, own your wealth, use it to make money. Even if you have a regular day job, start a side job because you don't know in this economy if that job is going to be there, especially with the whole
Right.
AI situation, right? So
Right.
in this moment, I feel like Georgia needs not only an election protection advocate to kind of straighten our elections, but we also need like a financial advisor Okay,
Mhm.
this is me.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
and
Well, okay.
so I hope we all consider me very seriously because I can appeal to a broad base of voters. Farmers, I can kind of check that. I want to
Right.
go get our farmers back. Like, why do we lose our farmers to the billionaire class? I don't understand. Um,
Right.
I want to get our business community thinking about somebody who cares about small business. Because the Republicans, as far as I can tell, they're big business people. They don't care about small business and they don't even care about small farmers. They are big ag, big business, and small people right now are kind of getting crushed under this weight because our policies have not been friendly to the majority of Georgians. And, so I will be pushing for things that will make it easier and better for us to all have, amazing lives. Like the American dream that I thought and I still believe in today, I want it for everybody else now because we need to have that mentality back. We cannot
Mhm.
surrender the American dream and then start selecting, okay, you get it, okay, you don't get it, and then creating
Right.
multiple classes of citizens. I am not
Right.
for that. Anyways, I get very passionate about some of this stuff because, as a political refugee, I take it all very seriously.
All right. Well, man, and we all should take it seriously. It's very serious work. I appreciate your passion in that. Thank you so much. I do want to switch over a little bit now. We talked about the job. You mentioned that you've been on statewide campaigns before, successful statewide campaigns before. So let's talk a little bit about political strategy. How do you see, what do you think the Democrats need to do this year in our combined campaign? Something that we haven't always done very well. What do you think we need to do to succeed? Is there one or two things in particular that you think we should maybe change what we've done in the past, or you think
Well,
have an idea
we
yourself that
right.
that can
We
help us
we have
there?
already started this, thank God. Okay, because
Right.
like the Fighting 50 pack has already recruited a lot of rural candidates to run and
Hmm.
challenge every seat. So I'm very happy we did that. Um, I think that's really important. The other thing we need, because I've seen us win and lose many cycles now, we need to maintain our coalitions. Okay,
Right.
our coalition kind of broke down during Harris' run. Okay,
Right.
we need the Latino community, the Black community, the Asian
Hmm.
American community, all gel together. Our progressive suburban community. We also need niche community like our Muslim voters to feel part of the fight, so that
Right.
they don't just skip out. Okay, like they kind of did.
Yeah.
So coalition building is really important. Um, making sure that the Democrats have something for everyone. And then even breaking through and not just being completely political, but having um, practical solutions to help everyday Georgians. Like my office would be doing that, right? I want to generate new businesses, the 100,000 new businesses. I want to
Hmm.
get more people transitioning to trades that are more protected from AI. Okay.
Right.
Electricians, plumber, skilled labor is important. And we need to adapt and kind of move more as a state so that we can buffer some of this. But that message, I think the economic message needs to be louder from the Democratic side, and we can't just spend all our time talking about voter protection. Even though it is a problem, and we do want clean, fair, me personally, because I'm a finance person, auditable election that we can verify. Okay, so
Right.
there's none of this perpetual court fights. Um,
Right.
but kind of reunified everyone because I think we might now be fighting the Republicans, but in a few years, what we're going to be fighting? It's going to be us, regular people, Georgians, versus unregulated AI. Okay. And and
Right.
and the entire state needs to start thinking about that and um, discussing that And we got to figure out how we're going to manage that. And I think that's an important discussion that we can have as a state. That's not political. That's impacting everybody in every community. So I'm a coalition builder. I've done that every single time that I ran a race since 2018. I would say that Stacy kind of helped me and helped Georgia in that space. But we need a coalition. We need economic messaging that's backed up by people who are business people. Okay, like myself as a Secretary of State person, and we can re like regain the trust this office has lost, and they've lost this trust even on the Republican side.
Yeah.
So since I'm not political, I'm not backed by political insiders, I'm rational, I'm financially trained. I think I'm in the best position to appeal to independents, to Democrats, and rational Republicans about what we need to fix this office so that it works for everyone.
Okay. Well, thank you, Cam, for that. You've had a lot of information for us today, and I appreciate that. What I like to do as we wrap up, I do this for every candidate. I ask you to sort of, in the last 1 or 2 minutes, kind of look in the camera and give the voters who are going to be watching this I guess you could say, your stump speech. Why should they vote for Cam Ashling to be the next Secretary of State? That kind of thing. So I'm going to let you close it out by doing just that. Go ahead.
Okay. Cam Ashling here for your Georgia Secretary of State. I'm the only candidate who can run every pillar of this office. I don't need on-the-job training. This office is too important to get wrong. And we need somebody who can also fire up the entire Democratic ticket, because I don't believe this job is just to win my race necessarily. I think if you're on the statewide ticket, your job is to make sure everybody wins, and we need to start acting like and being like a team. So, I'm not a great talker. I'm a doer, and I want to fix this office, run it correctly, and I want to earn your vote. And if you ever need me, I'm very accessible. Just look me up, ping me, message me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Cam. I think you are a great talker and a great doer.
I don't know about
You have done a lot. You've done a lot politically already. I think you've got a lot more ahead of you. And I say this to all candidates. Most people don't realize just how hard it is to step out and run for a political office, especially in a state this big with 159 counties. You got all these different places you got to go. And being a mom, being a farmer, and all that you do, super, super appreciative of what you're doing. Thank you so much. And thank you for your time today with us.
Thank you. I love traveling, and I like to go and see what everybody else is doing and how can we help. So I'm here for us. Thank you.
Well, come up. I'll make sure you get an invite to our summer barbecue up here on Lookout Mountain. I think you said before that you've been up here, so
Yes, yeah. I
come on
mean, I'm not that
to
far. I'm
Lookout
just at
Mountain.
Forsyth, right?
All right. Okay. So
Thank
thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much. All right. Let me